Grappling with the cost of childcare, a struggling single mother takes her son to her high-powered job, only to have her world turned upside down when the boy identifies her billionaire boss as his father in a packed boardroom. Emily Carter's vision blurred, the numbers on her monitor swimming like angry gnats before her tired eyes as the digital clock on her screen glowed 11:47 p.m. She was still digging through the spreadsheets, scouring the cells for a miracle that wasn't there, a simple miscalculation that would change everything. But after the fifth pass, the cold, hard numbers stared back, unforgiving. Her salary, once a source of pride, was now a shrinking blanket, no longer able to cover the sharp edges of her life. With a deep, weary sigh, she shut the laptop and melted into the stiff chair at her small dining table. The Los Angeles apartment was steeped in silence, broken only by the quiet hum of the humidifier in Ethan's room. She allowed herself the briefest indulgence in self-pity, a single tear tracing a path down her cheek before she swiped it away with a rough, determined motion. "Strong moms don't cry," she whispered, the mantra she had adopted 4 years ago, a shield she'd clung to since the moment she learned she was pregnant. She had made a silent vow to herself and the tiny life inside her that she would always be enough for the two of them. A small noise from Ethan's room had her on her feet in an instant. She moved silently down the hall, pushing open the door covered in smiling dinosaur stickers. Ethan was a picture of perfect peace, his light brown hair, so like her own, fanned out on the pillow. Her son was the definition of innocence, clutching his favorite plush T-Rex, completely shielded from the adult anxieties that haunted the small apartment. Emily gently pulled the blanket higher around his shoulders, her fingers lingering for a moment on his warm, rosy cheek. How could she ever articulate to a 4-year-old that their cozy world might shrink, that the swim lessons he adored might become a forgotten luxury? She returned to the living room, her eyes landing on the crumpled letter on the table. The words from Maria Rodriguez, her babysitter for 3 years, still felt like a fresh wound. "Dear Emily, I'm so sorry, but I can't continue anymore. You've been more than an employer. You've been a friend. But with the delayed payments these past months, I can't keep up with my own bills. I hope you understand. I wish you and little Ethan all the best. Sincerely, Maria Rodriguez." Emily couldn't falter. Maria had been a saint, accepting partial payments and promises of next month. But everyone had their breaking point, and Emily had clearly pushed past hers. The shriek of the alarm clock ripped Emily from her troubled thoughts the next morning. 5:30 a.m. She had to beat the infamous LA traffic if she wanted to get Ethan to preschool on time. "Ethan, honey, time to get up," she called softly, entering her son's room. To her surprise, he was already awake, sitting up and rubbing his eyes. "Mom, my throat hurts," he rasped, his voice uncharacteristically gravelly. Emily's heart plunged as she pressed her palm to his forehead. It was hot, terrifyingly hot. "Oh, my love," she whispered, pulling him into a protective hug. "Let's check your temperature." The thermometer confirmed her fears. 101.3 degrees. Not quite an ER emergency, but far too high for preschool. Emily sat on the edge of his bed, her mind a frantic storm of impossible options. Maria was gone. Her mother was on the other side of the country. Her savings were a joke, barely enough for next month's rent. Taking a day off wasn't just about losing pay, it was about jeopardizing her standing at Thompson Industries during the most critical week of the quarter. Her phone buzzed, a sharp reminder from her supervisor about the crucial departmental meeting that afternoon. Emily shut her eyes, the weight of it all pressing down on her. "Mom," Ethan's small voice pulled her back. "Are you sad?" Emily manufactured a smile, ruffling his hair. "No, sweetie, just thinking. How about a special day today?" Ethan's eyes, though feverish, lit up. "Special how? How about seeing where I work?" Ethan's face brightened for a moment before a dry, hacking cough took over. Emily hugged him tightly, her mind already racing through a checklist of what she'd need to pull this off. A tablet loaded with games, fever reducer, water, quiet snacks, coloring books. An hour later, Emily was navigating the downtown LA traffic, her eyes flicking nervously to the rearview mirror where Ethan had drifted off in his car seat. He was cocooned in his favorite Avengers hoodie, a backpack of distractions at his feet. She pulled into the subterranean garage of the towering glass and steel monolith that housed Thompson Industries, the place she'd dedicated 5 years of her life. 5 years of building a reputation as a sharp, dedicated professional. 5 years of proving her worth in a male-dominated field. And now she was about to throw it all away. "Ethan, honey, we're here," she said softly, opening his door. He woke up, dazed, his eyes heavy with sleep and fever. "I'm tired, Mom," he mumbled as she unbuckled him. "I know, sweetie. You can rest more upstairs," she promised, scooping him into her arms. Her heart hammered against her ribs as she made her way to the elevators, Ethan's backpack slung over one shoulder, her own briefcase in her other hand. The lobby was a blur of power suits and clicking heels. Emily held her head high, feigning an air of confidence, ignoring the curious stares directed at the woman in a business suit and the sleeping child in her arms. She stabbed the elevator button, praying for a solo ride to her floor. The polished doors slid open, and Emily hesitated. She was about to shatter every unwritten rule of corporate decorum, but the radiating heat from Ethan's feverish body against her neck solidified her resolve. This was it. This or risk losing everything. "Last resort," she muttered, stepping inside. As the doors closed, she caught her reflection in the mirrored wall. A 32-year-old woman, her brown hair pulled back in a severe professional bun, her navy blazer a stark contrast to the small, vulnerable boy clinging to her. It was a perfect portrait of her warring worlds, motherhood and career. The elevator chimed on the 12th floor, and Emily braced herself. Stepping out, she was relieved to find the accounting department still mostly empty, a small perk of her early arrival. She moved swiftly to her office, grateful for the privacy her last promotion had afforded her. She shut the door, a wave of relief washing over her. The office wasn't huge, but it had a small sofa, perfect for an improvised sick bay. She gently laid Ethan down, covering him with the blanket from home. "Mommy's going to work right here," she explained, pointing to her desk just feet away. "If you need anything, just call me quietly, okay?" Ethan nodded, his eyes already closing, his T-Rex clutched in his hand. Emily kissed his forehead, still warm, and settled at her desk, determined to conquer the impossible. As the morning progressed, the office hummed to life. Emily could hear the familiar cadence of her colleagues' voices outside her door. Ethan slept for nearly 2 hours, waking only for a dose of medicine. "Miss Cooper," a quiet voice said after a soft knock. It was Jessica, a junior analyst from her team. "Come in," Emily replied, trying to sound casual as her heart leapt into her throat. Jessica opened the door, her eyes widening in surprise at the sight of Ethan, now sitting up and engrossed in his tablet. "Oh," she whispered, a warm, genuine smile spreading across her face. "I didn't know we had such a special visitor today." Before Emily could stammer an explanation, Jessica was already crouching by the sofa. "Hi there, little one. What's your name?" "Ethan," he answered shyly. "Do you work with my mom?" "I sure do, and she's the best boss I've ever had," Jessica said, winking at Emily. "That's a cool game you're playing. What is it?" As Ethan launched into an excited explanation of his dinosaur game, a wave of gratitude washed over Emily. Jessica could have judged, could have made a snide remark, but instead she was a beacon of kindness. Throughout the morning, other colleagues found reasons to stop by, each offering not judgment, but quiet support. Deborah, the department secretary, brought a package of cookies. Bob, a senior accountant, mentioned he had kid-friendly games on his tablet. By noon, Emily started to believe she might actually make it through the day. Ethan was a model patient, alternating between naps and quiet activities. His fever had dropped, and he was even eating. "Mom," Ethan called out while she was deep in a complex email. "Yes, honey?" "When I grow up, I want to work in a place just like this," he declared, with the gravity only a 4-year-old possesses. Emily felt her eyes sting. "Really?